Bengals fans are amazing. They're resilient, they're tough, but they're fun. And I'm really excited to hopefully meet a lot more of you.
Isaac has the big game. Then we became a real balanced offense for the playoff run, which I thought was really important.
He put on the greatest route running exhibition I have ever seen in my life.
He was football 24/7, and that was the greatest part of Chad.
At times, the early part, I would tell him when we were throwing deep passes, I said, don't wait too long, because I'm going to get away. If you ain't going to have the arm to get there. So, I want to run to the ball,
Well, Duke, looks like Duke's in the waiting room. I don't want to keep Duke waiting. He gave us a very limited amount of time. I know he's a busy man. Duke, what's going on, big dog? How you doing, buddy?
Jim, how are you, man? Thanks for having me on. Yeah,
Hey.
I'm real busy. I'm sitting on my porch.
Yeah, well, hey. Have a little drink going on there.
Joe Burrow has played in big games his entire life, and I would think he will be a steady hand at the bow of the ship. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if they take him all the way to the Super Bowl. I really wouldn't.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Talking Football with Bengal Jim and friends. But damn, what a hell of a weekend in Tampa. Tony was down there. I know you guys were watching, man. But what an unbelievable, what an amazing game. Tale of two halves, man. So we'll talk. We're going to get into that game later. A lot of stuff going on. Hey, we got Logan Wilson to start your show tonight. So you know what? We're not even going to play around with this, guys. Let's go ahead and pull Logan on now if you can. Logan, what's going on, big dog? How you doing, buddy?
What's up, guys? I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, man. Good. Logan said he didn't have to go to the hot tub or, he feels great after the game, the Tampa game here, but Logan's feeling pretty damn good. He's ready to go. Logan, I know you probably never watched the show. We've had a lot of your teammates on, a lot of former players. Man, we just search the archives for any videos or pictures that we can find of our guests to put them in a kind of a little spot here. We did a Kay Adams last week. She got a little frustrated with me about her hairdo of a video that we showed from like 7 or 8 years ago. We got one of you we want to play. And usually it's a highlight, what you did in high school or as a youth. I mean, you went to, is it Natrona County High School, Logan? Is that right?
Natrona County High School, yeah.
Okay. So you played wide receiver. You were a defensive back. You were a punter. You were even a place kicker, right?
Yep.
All right. So I got this video here. This was one I didn't know about. If I can find this thing again. Here it is right here.
Logan Wilson was called on for a 50-yard field goal try. That's quite a stretch in high school, and maybe he was hitting them in practice, but this one is short, and in high school.
Okay. Were you hitting them in practice, Logan, or not?
Yeah. I remember how far that was. That was my sophomore year.
That was a 50-plus yard field goal. I got to send that to Evan. Evan's got to see that.
Yeah. I think I made a 53-yarder once in a game, but that was the furthest one. I attempted a 60-yarder in the Oil Bowl my junior year, and it was just short. But that's funny stuff, man. When I saw that video, I was like, I could have had some other videos, but I'm going to show him kicking a field goal here, trying to and missed, of course.
My bad, man. I couldn't find the ones you made. All right. I guess I'm going to start off with one more video. We'll get the videos out of the way here because we want to get a few viewer questions as well. And I know we all have a question for you. Man, last year, what a hell of a run it was, Logan. I know you came in 2020. I think you were at 2020, the third-round pick. You were the highest draft pick out of Wyoming, a native to the state to be drafted in college, which was something I didn't know until today. But, man, last year, Logan, you played a critical part in the entire season. I'm going to play this short video here, another game we were at last year. But I'm going to play this video. I'd like for you to comment about this video as well.
Steps forward, popped up in the air, intercepted. Logan Wilson's got it for Cincinnati.
Right place, right time. That's what happens when you hustle to the ball. He's right there for the interception, giving the Bengals excellent field position with 20 seconds.
I think everybody know what happened next, Logan, after that interception. So talk about that. Had to be one of the biggest interceptions in your career, college and NFL, I would assume.
Yeah, it was huge. It was a big play by Eli, obviously, to bat that pass. And, as the announcer said, that's something I've always prided myself on, was just running to the ball, because you never know, the position that you're going to put yourself in just by having constant effort. And so that's something I pride myself on, and I just happened to be in the right place at the right time.
Oh, man, it was an awesome feeling, brother, because I was scared as hell. I thought they were going to march down and kick a field goal. Then that happens. Like, we flipped the script on them, man. It was an awesome play.
That was awesome.
Awesome. Tom, go ahead, brother. I know you had a couple for Logan.
Logan, thanks first for your time tonight. This defense, I mean, you guys, you embody the team, how well you guys work together. And, from the untrained eye up in the stands, how well you guys communicate with each other. I'm just wondering, what do you attribute that to? Is it what happens at practice? Is it what happens in meetings? Is it all the above? Or is it just the special guys you have as teammates?
I think it's all the above. And I think the biggest thing is, I think that you can attribute it to is we trust each other. We trust that everyone is going to do their 1/11th to the best of their ability on every play. That's not saying guys aren't going to make mistakes, but we don't point fingers. We just kind of rally and move on to the next play, because that's part of this game, and we understand that. And that just also goes back to the guys that we have in the locker room. Coach Taylor and the front office have done an incredible job of bringing unselfish guys on the team that ultimately just want to win, and that's a big reason for our success.
Tom, go ahead. I think you have another one.
Tom? Oh, okay. Yeah. As you prep every week, what has been the toughest quarterback you and the defense have had to prep for thus far in your career?
Yeah, I feel like it was probably last week, facing Tom Brady, a guy that's played 23 years in the league. There's literally not a coverage that he hasn't seen. So it's just a matter of, being poised and understanding where he's going to try to work with the ball and things like that. And, it was obviously an honor to go play against a guy like him.
Mark?
Hey, how you doing, Logan? My first question is, when I take a look at the snap counts, you're generally playing every single snap. I think last week you played all 74 snaps that we had. I was just wondering, is there, something coming from college to the pros that you do to be able to maintain that level?
Being able to play like the whole game.
Yeah, because you also have the green dot, right?
Yeah. I think it's, for me personally, I take a lot of pride in taking care of my body to be able to, do that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of work that goes on off the field for what I put on the field. And then I think the biggest thing is just like, I'm a firm believer in you practice how you play. So if you're not going to practice with good effort, or you're not going to practice with good technique, it's not going to show up on Sundays. So a lot of that kind of stuff starts in practice.
Okay, cool. And also I have one more question. Who is the biggest smack talker when you're out there on the defense? To me, I think it would be either Eli Apple or DJ Reader. Just who's the one chirping at the other team?
Both those guys do talk a lot of smack, but Trey Hendrickson also talks a lot of smack. I don't know if you guys know that.
No idea.
He's a good smack talker himself.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So thanks everybody for tuning in. As you watch right now, whether the platform you're watching on, YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, type in your questions. Jamie's going to pop up a few questions for us. You obviously see somebody missing on the screen tonight. James is down in the Keys right now doing some snorkeling and some fishing. So he'll be back with us here next week. But Tony, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, I just have one question. First off, Logan, thanks for coming on to the show. Appreciate your time.
Yeah.
So as you were growing up, who was the football player, role model, or coach that has influenced you for the way that you play today?
Oh, man. I grew up a Denver Broncos fan. So, and I, prior to college, I'd never played linebacker. So I was a defensive back, and I was a huge fan of Champ Bailey and the way that he played the game. Just growing up, he was probably my favorite player.
Thanks.
Got it. All right, let's talk about your position group, Logan. Talk about those guys. You guys got a hell of a room right there.
Yeah, we got a lot of young guys too. I think about, I want to say 6 of us are all from the same draft class. We got Joe Bocci, Akeem, Marcus, me, Clay, and Keandre are all from the same class, and then Jermaine is our oldest in our room. So we're getting a lot of experience, and our position coach is doing a good job with us, and I think that we're playing at a high level right now.
Good. So I got to ask. I was talking to a bunch of folks, some folks close to you. I don't know how to ask this question, but if it's flops, I don't care. You went to Wyoming. They said some crazy things happen in Wyoming. I don't know what that means, but what are some of the things that happen in Wyoming that don't happen anywhere else?
In terms,
that flop,
flop, Logan.
Well, I
he's looking for some
I
juice.
might be able to help you.
We ride our horses to school still.
Really? For real? Hey, I'm from Canada. People ask me if we skate to school, so I get it, man. I totally understand. Yeah.
Hey, Jimmy,
how's my
thing,
igloo?
There's coast to coast. Everybody's freaking out. I'm listening to NFL Network and everything today about the temperatures. The Bears it's going to be 11 degrees with horrible wind chill. It's going to be cold in Foxborough this weekend. It's going to be cold in Baltimore, blah, blah, blah. Logan, when these guys are talking about playing football in, 10 degrees, 15 degrees, I would think in Wyoming in November and December, that's just a Tuesday. It's not a big deal.
My state championship, my senior year, we played it at the University of Wyoming Stadium. I want to say it was close to like -20 with the wind chill at kickoff.
Wow.
So when you talk,
so what are you going to do?
Helmet off? If you took your helmet off and you wanted to put it back on, you were just going to pierce and slice your skin because they would just get rock hard. So you just never took your helmet off. And I had frost on the inside of my face mask just from breathing.
And that was like in November, wasn't it?
It was cold.
So I thought you'd be the one going out this weekend in the cold weather in New England, like no sleeves, ready to go.
I did that once in college, and I was just like, what am I doing? This is just, what am I trying to prove to people? It's pointless. All I'm going to do is get myself sick. I'm going to be the one.
You're a badass, bro. That's what you do. You don't want there no sleeves on it. Come on.
Yeah, but we don't need them. We don't need us sick for another run. We don't want them sick. No.
I always hear that because they'll say, guys won't wear sleeves to try to intimidate the opponent. It's like you play football. Is that not already intimidating? Like not wearing sleeves is going to intimidate a guy? And
I think some people put in that intimidation factor. So.
Plus, he's going to come out with thermals and a scarf on Sunday. Shit.
Yeah. Be bundled
all right,
up.
Jamie, go ahead. I know we have a ton of viewer questions for Logan.
All right, perfect. I'll throw a couple up here, Logan. Like we said, we really appreciate your time. Greg, one of our longtime viewers, watches every week. He wants to know what the draft process was like for you.
Shoot, my draft process was weird because it was COVID. So, I went to the combine and Senior Bowl, and then I went back to Laramie, Wyoming, I think, and it was like 5 days before my pro day. I got my pro day in. And I think I was one of I don't know how many pro days it was before they started shutting the whole country down. And then I had actually taken they call it the top 30 visit, and I went to the Eagles, and I was there. And while I was there, they were sending people out of the building to leave temporarily. They didn't know how long. And so as soon as I left, I landed in Denver at the airport, and the DIA was just a ghost town. It was crazy. During COVID. So the draft process was weird. We were going to go to Vegas and, be in Vegas for the draft. Just had a little Airbnb and ended up having to just do it at home, and had to set up a little camera on an iPad in my living room and watch the draft from home.
Yeah, it was definitely a weird time. So as people on the screen here, we live and breathe this team, watch everything. We can't help but notice that the Bengals seem to really come out strong in the second half. Another viewer, Augie, wants to know, what's the key adjustment in the second half this past week?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is we just settle down and play our brand of ball. Sometimes we just, sometimes guys just make mistakes, and that's just part of the game. And they are also, playing well on offense. And the biggest thing is we just settle down and play our brand of ball. And, we know what we're capable of. Sometimes there's a little more adjustments here and there, but at the end of the day, we control what we can.
Cool. Got a couple more here. Josh would like to know, what's your favorite thing to do in Cincinnati?
Oh man,
when you have time to do.
I was going to
stuff.
say with my limited free time. I don't know. I feel like my wife and I like to try new food spots a lot. I wouldn't maybe not new, but we like to go out to dinner a lot.
Okay, so that actually piggybacks off Emily's question. What's your favorite restaurant to eat at in Cincinnati?
I think right now I'd have to go with Soto.
Oh, that's my wife and I's anniversary spot every year. That place is the best.
Yeah, it's so good. I had their summer menu and I had some prosciutto on cantaloupe, and it was just doesn't sound good, but I tried it and it was just unbelievable. And then their pasta, I mean, I can go on. It's a really good spot.
Did you get their donuts?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hey, people that are watching right now, don't laugh at it. You go to a real nice restaurant, they have these little ricotta ball donuts. It's ridiculous. I mean,
they're warm.
They're so good.
Yeah, they're really.
My bad. We'll do.
We went off on this.
No, it's okay.
That's okay. We'll do two more quick ones here. What do you feel was the bigger victory for you this season? The win over Tampa and Tom Brady, or Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City?
In terms of our team, I would probably say that Kansas City win. Just because they're in the AFC.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. And then last question, Brandon, longtime viewer as well. Not to look too far ahead, but how much are you looking forward to going against Josh Allen January 2nd?
Yeah, that will be fun. I mean, we got a lot of friends and family that are coming out for that, and I know there's a lot of Wyoming people back home that are looking forward to it, just because it's a unique game. You know, you don't get to play very often against your former teammate, who's he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now. So it'll be a cool opportunity.
Cool.
Well, hey, mate, Logan, I know we had you for a limited amount of time, but appreciate your time. But we also want to let the viewers know we're kind of tied. This would be the first time 3 seasons that we've actually had our guest going to stay on for this particular charity duck race we're doing. So, Tony, talk about right now, if you could, give everybody an update on how many ducks were sold and how much was raised. And I'm going to have Logan talk about what we're doing on this fundraiser and why.
Sure. So Logan reached out, if you guys know, and we started a duck race this week for a signed white Logan Wilson jersey that was used during the Pittsburgh game. And he reached out to us in an effort to raise funds. So we sold over 160-something ducks for this duck race, which has earned us $8,150 to go towards his event that he's going to talk about, which actually brings our total this year up to over $96,000. So you guys have done a really great job on this.
Cool, man.
Awesome. Unbelievable. 96 grand, guys. We're not even through the season. Our goal was 75. We bumped it to 100. How many charities now, Tony? About 16, 17 charities we worked with this year?
Yeah, Logan's would be the 17th that we worked with.
Okay. We're going to put this picture up here, and I want you to talk about this family right here and what we're doing.
Yeah, there are neighbors that live down the street from us, and my wife got to know them, and them and their parents, or Ryan's parents, live down the street from us, and it just kind of got on her heart after she found out that the mom has breast cancer and she's going through treatments right now. Just kind of put on her heart that her and I have this platform, with the NFL that we can kind of use to give back to a family like them. And we just after we talked about it, I reached out to my marketing guy and figured out that we should get the game worn jersey from the Pittsburgh game, and they reached out to you guys, and we're just trying to raise as much money for them to help pay for the medical bills.
Yeah. So you guys, awesome. Houday Nation, $8,150. We marvel at this stuff all the time.
Yeah, huge.
So Logan has no idea what he's ready to get into here. Logan, just looking at last week we had Kay Adams on. I know Kay had interviewed you. She was talking to me about her interview with you before it came out. And we told her about this duck race, and she was mortified. She thought we were like stapling names on ducks and everything. So here's what we're doing, guys. We can only do so many ducks at a time. So we're doing 2 heats here. There's a lot of ducks. We can only do 100 ducks at a time. So Jamie's going to do 2 different heats. The winner of those heats will play in the championship duck run. It's the first time we've ever done it like this. So Tom is our duck caller on this, and we'll just go ahead and kick it off here, Jamie.
All right, so the first heat, we have 73 names. Second heat will be, I'm not sure how many names, but we'll see in a second. So winner of the first heat will go head-to-head against the winner of the second heat, and that person's going to win the signed jersey. Here we go. And number 1.
Go ahead, Tom.
A little shorter for the heat. Looks like the COVID duck, as it normally does, is charging to the lead, along with the lime green State of Ohio Highway Patrol green duck, the guy with the vest on.
Okay, so Logan, the first thing to know about this is the person leading early never wins.
Coming down the
person
stretch.
leading early never. You
Here
do not
they
want to
come,
lead
they're
early.
bunching up.
Here we go. See?
Uh-oh.
And
There it
a
is.
purple duck takes it out of nowhere.
All right,
Eric
that's
Gunn.
Eric Gunn.
You got a spot in the finals, Eric. You got a spot in the finals. So we'll kind of
All right.
chat a little bit as he gets the second one set up here. I think he's got to cut and paste some things into this. So
Logan, just so you know, this is great. This is great for like plane rides and bus rides. Everyone throws $20 in. You set some ducks. Like, just let you
Sounds
know.
like a great way
This
to
is
lose.
good. All right, go ahead, Jimmy. I'll set the second one up while you guys are talking.
Yep. So Eric's got a spot in the finals there, game wore jersey. Logan, we were in Pittsburgh for that game. That was the coldest game of the year so far. A little chilly. The city near West Virginia is what we call them, Logan, by the way. I think we're going to get colder as the year goes on, but it doesn't matter because that's when we're going to play our best towards the end of the season here going into the playoffs. So second heat here, semifinals.
Okay, you guys, will someone write down the winner from the first one for me? Just so put it in the private chat for me so I can make sure I said it properly.
Hold on,
All
who
right,
was
here
it
we
again?
go.
Eric
Gunn.
Gunn.
Eric,
Gotcha.
is it? Okay, cool.
I got it.
Put it in the chat for me, okay? Here we go.
And they're off. It's like that panda duck looking kind of strong coming out.
You do not want to be first.
He doesn't
I'm
want to
telling
be
you right now.
Like
First never
10
wins.
seconds in. What is that, scholarly duck coming on?
Then again, we normally run these for a minute, so
That's
oh, here we go. Here
10
comes Kay
seconds to
Adams.
go.
You
You
ready?
don't want to be in the lead. Here comes
Kay Adams
Silver
gonna
Duck.
win.
We do not
Kay
want
Adams
Silver
gonna
Duck
win.
to win. We're going to Boston this
Come on, Kay.
Do not
Come on,
do that.
Kay.
She is.
Come on, Kay.
Man.
Is that a cop outfit? Feels like a British
So hold on.
cop.
Hold on.
Yeah.
So hold on. As we went through this, Kay bought a bunch of ducks, but we only put one duck in her name because she said if she
You put
won,
two.
she
There
would
was two. Just so you know, there was two.
Two.
Yeah.
So that's too funny. So it's Kay Adams and Eric Gunn.
2 N.
Eric Gunn, Gunn.
I think it's done.
Done. D-U-N-N.
Done?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
Okay, that's it. All
This is
right,
it. This is
we'll
the
go 30.
championship right here now.
We'll go 30 seconds on this. I have a feeling, Eric. I don't know who you are, Eric, but I have a feeling you're going to win either way. I think Kay's going to probably give you the jersey, but I won't speak for
Here
her.
we go.
Here we go.
Here we go. They're off. Eric Dunn
I
with
won't-
the Donald Trump duck up ahead. Kay
Well, if
Adams
he
with
loses,
the,
he's going to challenge it anyway.
Ohio
Yes.
Highway Workers neon green. Eric Dunn is quacking loud. With
I
the
thought we
Donald
were
Kay's
Trump
going to
duck.
win.
10
Kay's
seconds
winning.
to
I'm
go.
telling you right
Really
now.
slow. Feels really slow with
Kay
all
is
these
not
ducks.
whipping her. Wait a minute. Here comes
no,
Kay.
for
Here she
win.
comes.
Here she comes. She's going to get him. Kay
Hey,
Put
it- just to
Eric,
be clear.
Eric Gunn can admit defeat and give it to Kay Adams. Not
Listen,
protest. And
Kay's going to be
congratulations to
very
Kay.
confused. Kay's going to be very confused when Jimmy texts her and says she beat Donald Trump in a duck race.
Oh, that's
So
funny.
just for clarity, this is not something we could
No.
budge in any way, shape, or form. We're throwing names on a randomizer. The computer picks this. I swear to you, we had no control over this. Hilarious that Kay wins. So I will, when the show's over,
It's
we
the
will,
list of names I pulled from. All fair and square. We're obviously very transparent with everything that we do here.
Yeah.
Kay Adams won. Fair and square.
Or,
what can I say?
Or if Kay wants it, now all of a sudden you're going to see the white Bengals helmet behind her in her show and the Logan Wilson frame jersey is what's going to happen. So
that's hilarious.
Well, Logan, hey, look, man, we'll get in touch with you probably tomorrow or the next day with Will, and we'll figure out how do we want to get these funds to that family. And it's crazy. I think she also, small world, Logan, a small world. She also works for a very good friend of mine as well.
Wow.
At the hospital, so she knew all about her in the situation too, which is really cool to hear.
Yeah,
please send our best, please.
Yeah. So, brother, hey, Logan, hey, we appreciate you being here with us. Appreciate you taking time today. Look, man, Who Dey Nation loves you, big dog, and we will be there loud and proud every game, home and away. I do want to ask one question though. Could you tell down in Tampa the presence of the Cincinnati Bengal fans in the stadium? Talk about that if you could.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew the presence when we ran out before the kickoff, and we didn't get booed as loud as we normally do.
I didn't make it to the game. I didn't make it to the game, but the national broadcast, all you could hear was Who Dey chants the whole game.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah, I was looking around. There was a lot of Bengals fans in there. It was cool.
So what does that mean to you though on the field when you go to an away stadium? It's usually very hostile, right? But what does that mean? It gives you a little bit more energy, right? I assume.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it shows the support of, this fan base, and I feel like it's growing too, as, we keep winning games, and, it's big for us, and we can feed off that, especially at away games.
Yeah. Well, big dog, we can't wait to
thank you.
how the rest of the season plays out, man. We'll be watching, and good luck the rest of the year, man. We appreciate everything.
Thank you, guys.
Well, good. Merry Christmas.
All right,
yeah, Merry Christmas.
Thanks, Logan. Who Dey?
That was fun.
I can't believe Kay Adams won that duck race. Oh my god!
Amazing.
Jimmy, can you text her now?
I'm texting her right now. So
yeah, let her know. I won't speak for her, but I feel pretty good about Eric getting that jersey. I don't know, maybe not. But.
You ought to send her the link.
Here, I tell you what. Let's go ahead, Tony. Go ahead and talk about making a difference with Tony the Tiger. Some of the charity updates, and I'm hoping we get a response from Kay before the end of the show.
Tony said he can't do it until you show the graphic, sir.
What graphic we showing?
You're making.
I don't know. Hold on. Here. Hold on.
The snazzy one that we all got.
Where's it at now? I had the view. Here it is. Hold on. Here it is. Tony, talk about the Toys for Tots stuff.
Yeah, so today was awesome. We had a really good day today. As you guys know, we did a Toys for Tots drive. We teamed up with the Tailgate that you guys were able to contribute funds and toys to. And then also with my company, Duke Energy, we were able to break our record of 800 toys, and we were able to gather 1,100 toys today, which we delivered, as some of the pictures showed. We spent the day helping organize, sort them toys out by age and gender, and it was just phenomenal. I actually got a little emotional, not to lie, as we were unloading all them toys and putting them away, and the rep from Toys for Tots was talking to us, and she had over 800 families that she had to help, and she was very proud to tell us that between them two efforts with the company and the Tailgate, we had more donations of toys than all the whole community that gathered the toys. So it was pretty phenomenal and pretty heartfelt. So thanks again to all you guys, Who Dey Nation, for bringing those toys and the funds that we did for the raffle, and as well as the employees of Duke Energy who helped do that. And also Duke Energy also gave us a $2,500 grant to help towards that effort. So kudos to everyone involved, and it was just a great day. So with that, like we already talked, it brought our total over $96,330 for the year to date, helping 17 different charities. So it's phenomenal. It's a great year.
Wow. Crazy.
It's awesome. Hey, so here's a message from Kay. She responded fairly quickly. She was asked, how many ducks? I need the footage posted. She says, I never win anything.
Uh-oh. Now the footage is going to be me saying she's going to give the jersey to Eric.
No, she says, how can we pay it forward? Okay. Okay, hold on. Let's keep going here.
All right, you go have your text chat with Kay. We'll figure it out.
No, we're good. We're good. We'll stay on point here. So, Tony, thanks for that update. Who Dey Nation, again, so we'll be doing something here, rolling something out here soon, and we got the next Monday Night Football game here in a couple weeks. We'll get some stuff going there. So that really puts us really close to our $100,000 goal. I think we should bump to 150, Tony, 175. No, but we're really close to the 100, and we will celebrate that when we get there. And we're really close. And I think we'll pass that here in the next couple of weeks. So let's go ahead and flip over. We're going to do on the mark, Bougie Mark, as Lisa Moran calls him. Mark, kind of tell us about the video here. We're getting ready the weekend review, kind of before we kick it off.
All right. So as you guys know, we were away in Tampa, so there was no Bengal Jim's block party to navigate through, sadly. But we still had a good time. So Wednesday, we were at the meet and greet at the Ross Gold Star. We were there with Who Dey, the people from Gold Star, and Fan of the Year, Phil. He was down. And this week, luckily, we all know Anne Marie, wonderful lady who works for the Alzheimer's Association. She was my on-site reporter this week. She went down and had some fun. So she stopped by the meet and greet you guys had Wednesday, and then she was at the game and at the tailgate. So just got some, little short video, but I feel some pretty good footage. So if you want to go ahead, you can roll it.
Here we go.
Hello, we're here in beautiful Tampa Bay, ready to kick Tom Brady's butt. Here. All right. Oh, teacup. It's tea time, baby. Woo! Give us a Who Dey. Who Dey. And how long have you been a Bengals fan? I'm 41 years old. Okay, so the day you were born. Okay. Okay, ladies. Get the cat. Yeah, I got your cat. It's all good. All right. Tell us how long you've been a Bengals fan. Who Dey? All my life. 56 years. Woo! Gotta get a Who Dey. Who Dey? Yeah.
All right, there we go. I don't know what's going on with Tom, but
that happened last week to Tom.
The video got him so
Yeah.
excited. He had to.
He's actually watching it on
He's on his way to Tampa as we speak.
Hey, you captured the chance of the Who Day, man. Me and Jimmy were there. It was phenomenal to hear everyone screaming that Who Day in the stadium. It was great.
It was, and it was like from
I
the
love
third quarter on. It was just, you could hear it every commercial break. Anytime something happened, it sounded like some of the Tampa fans may have left when they started turning the ball over. And just the whole half, third quarter, and the whole fourth quarter, you could just hear it. It's Who Day. It was just pounding. It was awesome. You guys were amazing.
You guys look like you had a lot of fun at the tailgate too. Like, how long have you been a Bengals fan? I'm 41 years old. It's like, so all your life then, or?
And thank you so much, Anne-Marie, for doing that. Thank you so much for doing that.
What is going on with Tom here?
Tom, pay the light bill, sir.
Pay the light.
Is he protesting something? He's going black screen.
Do me a favor. Quit touching buttons. Every time I watch you guys touch a button, I vanish.
No button touching here, man.
Ain't gonna put us on us.
We can't control that. That's funny. All right, so let's get our next thing here before we start talking about the more details on the Tampa game, talk about the Patriots game. Tom, on this date in Bengals history, we've given you a couple layups back-to-back weeks here, and I think this one is one as well. On this date in Bengal history, December 20th, 1970, what happened?
Bengals clinched their first ever division title. At that time, the quickest that an expansion team had ever won a title and advanced to the playoffs. They beat the living tar out of the then Boston Patriots at Riverfront Stadium to go there. I think they won their last 7 in a row that year to shock the NFL and the world and move on to the playoffs. There's that epic photograph of Bill Bergey, and it might have been Ken Avery carrying Paul Brown off the field, a la Vince Lombardi. But, today's the day they clinched the first title. Virgil Carter and Sam Weich, both at quarterback that day.
Yeah. So I got a short clip here that I want to play of the game that Tom's talking about.
Behind their Cinderella quarterback Virgil Carter, number 11, the Bengals had only to beat Boston to be the youngest team ever to win a divisional title. The Bengals seemed headed for disaster in the first quarter when Carter was knocked senseless. But Carter came back moments later to throw a touchdown pass to Chip Myers, number 25. Ironically, Carter was stretched out again on the play, but this time he would not return to the game. He was replaced by Sam Weich, number 14, who hasn't seen much playing time lately, but you'd never know it the way he performed as Carter's magic remained in the game with him. The Bengals thoroughly routed Boston. The whole Bengal phenomenon almost defies analysis, but Paul Robinson, number 18, in regaining the form of his rookie year, certainly hasn't done them any harm. In this game, he scored 3 touchdowns, and to become the complete ball player, all he has to do is become a little more enthusiastic. But in fact, the Bengals are winning on enthusiasm. Well, they are a team without stars, except for Speedy Thomas, number 17. And all he likes to do is communicate with them. With defensive tackle Mike Reed, number 74, back from an injury, the Bengal defense has achieved a cohesion it lacked during their early season troubles. The Bengals left the Patriots battered and stunned until the waning moments. Carter, Weiss, Robinson, Reed, they were all carrying Coach Paul Brown off the field as well they should, for he brought them back from a 6-game losing streak to overtake favored Cleveland and record a smashing 45-7 clincher for the AFC Central title. With that kind of an accomplishment, you'd think Coach Brown had earned a new hat. But Paul Brown likes old hats, and the word coming from Cincinnati is simple and uncomplicated, like an old hat.
So a couple things in that video, Tom. The goalpost. You saw a couple highlights there, touchdowns, and that sack. Mike Reed had goalposts in front of the end zone at that time in NFL history. And then the thing that's really cool, Paul Brown being carried off the very first year from the AFL to the NFL, the very first year that carry them off. And Tom, what do we talk about that right there, that image someday happening here in Cincinnati?
You and I have talked about it. We talked about it with a good friend of the show, Cam Miller, how awesome it would be to have that as a statue, particularly on the west side of Paycor Stadium as you enter from the west side. I think that would be great in front of the orange and black stripes there. But yeah, some way to immortalize that moment, because it was, interestingly enough, Paul Brown said something to the fact that winning that division title set the team back a few years because it was not part of his schedule. He kept wanting to build. He had a vision and a schedule of where he wanted the team to be, and winning the title at that point sort of slowed things down in his overall vision and how he was drawing things up. But it was a masterpiece in coaching. And like Tom Brookshire said, that was a team, I wouldn't say without stars. Mike Reed was the best young defensive tackle in the NFL. Bill Berge was as good a middle linebacker at that time as existed in the NFL. But yeah, it was a team without superstars.
Yeah, Ken Riley and Lamar Parrish.
We're very young. Very
young. So, all right, guys, but that's a very, very big date in Cincinnati football history. Very cool. Very cool.
I love those uniforms, the white uniforms with the orange and the Bengals written on it. I love our uniforms now. Those might be our best ever uniforms.
I would love to see a throwback game with those someday. Just one game, a home game.
If we could, man, some people are going to get really upset with this. Certainly not the Kansas City Chiefs. But if we could ditch the orange uniforms and bring back the pre-1981 uniforms for one game a year, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'd be on board with that. All right, guys, let's talk about the game. Let's talk about the Tampa game, guys. I'm going to tell you, I was a little concerned. We had Sam Hubbard went down, so we were literally missing both our defensive ends that game. We're already missing Cheeto. Our D-line wasn't getting great pressure early in the game with not having both of our ends in there, right? So DJ Reader was a stud. Linebackers played well, and that safety core and secondary played great, Tom. I mean, I tale of two halves. We couldn't have played a worse half of football this year than we did in Tampa. And when they had 4 or 5 turnovers the second half, Tom, that was a crazy game, buddy.
It was a crazy game, but, I don't think, some people said that Tampa handed – I don't think they handed us anything. I think the Bengals defense went out and got it in the second half. They just messed them up other than that punt, which, national media, I don't care what you say. Leave Gio alone. He's a class guy and a great player. Leave him alone. But, his our buddy there producing the show in the middle of the top can attest. Fortunately, I was able to keep my cool in the first half. I wasn't angry or frustrated in the least, was I, Jamie?
Not at all. No. Very, very, very nice messages being sent.
All right, let's. I'm not going to read these. I'm not going to read these texts.
No. What stays in what's in the group chat stays in the group chat.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Show one, show all. You don't want that.
The odd thing, and I don't know if you guys, you and Tony being down there, because that first drive until the tip ball interception. I really thought, man, Joe's going to throw for 450 yards today. I mean, he was just on. The timing was there. The receivers were open, and he was just zinging the ball. Even that interception was going to be a nice completion had it not been tipped. I mean, he was in rhythm to begin with. And then after that interception, it seemed like it threw the whole team off schedule, and they really didn't get their win back till that last field goal right before halftime. And I don't know, Logan said they just kept to the plan and came out and just started playing better. But I don't know what was in the water or what Coach Taylor told him at halftime. But if you bottle it and sell it, you'll be a billionaire very quickly.
I will say, thank God for the defensive penalty on that Joe Burrow getting sacked back at the 50-yard line. That play will be forgotten. You'll never hear about it ever again. But if that call stood, you'd be seeing that clip for years to come. So very thankful for the penalty there.
Hey, Tony, what were your thoughts on that game? I know we talked about a lot of this. So.
Yeah, it was a first half that deflated us as a fan base and as a team. It seemed like me and Jimmy just kept on looking at like, what is going on? What is happening here? And then in that last minute drive that we had at the second quarter, we're like, why haven't they been playing like this the whole game? They came back and we got that field goal, so that helped out a little bit. But yeah, the second half coming back and playing like they did, it was amazing. It was funny because some of the Tampa fans around us were turning around and high-fiving Jimmy like, aha, yeah, here we go. And then so the second half, Jimmy's tapping this guy on the shoulder saying, hey, how about now? Give me a high five. So it was kind of funny to see that turn of events happen. But all in all, the fans were great. Nothing against the Tampa fans. They were awesome. They treated us with respect. So I had no ill feelings there at all. But what a game. It was a great second half.
It was funny. Tony and I were talking during the game. It almost gave you that vibe, that Cleveland Browns game, City Up North game earlier this year when we just laid an egg. It's okay. But that's how I was feeling. I don't know.
I think also I was extremely proud.
Okay. Go ahead.
I was just going to say I was extremely proud because the week before, Tampa got their doors blown off by San Francisco. So I think a lot of it had to do with, you have Tom Brady, and they wanted to come out and prove a point because I think they were down 28-0 at half. So, we took their best punch from the greatest quarterback of all time, and in the second half, we turned it on. The coaches on the other side get paid too. So, it's not just we might be playing bad. The other team was just playing really, really well. And we weathered the storm, and we eventually came out on top.
On that, Mark, Tony and Jim, won't understand this because they were at the game, and you, Jamie, and I watched it on the game. It bears repeating that, Tony Romo is really impressed with that Tampa Bay squad. And, boy, they really are using motion and play action to the utmost. And I, to his credit, he was dying on that hill till about the 2-minute warning.
Can I tell you something? So I'm actually, and I don't know where you guys stand on Tony Romo. I actually am a fan of him as a commentator. I enjoy watching games he's commentating, and I watch him commentate non-Bengals games mostly. And I see a lot of my friends complaining about the bias that you hear him, and I never really see it until it's the Tampa Bay versus Cincinnati game. Oh my God, the way he was just pouring, just puking praise on Brady, like he could never do wrong. And then as we kept coming back, it just he just kept doubling down on everything. It was gross to now I see what people say about Romo, how it's just he's a homer for one of the teams almost every single time.
Even the Jermaine Pratt pick, they're like, he didn't pick it, it hit the ground. And, the ref is literally signaling that it's our ball. They're like, he's running for no reason.
One more quick thing, something that we did notice on TV watching the national coverage. Our friend Caleb of the show caught the ball in the end zone there in the stands. I was a little bit disappointed to see how quickly he threw that ball back, though. You guys, was he sitting near you guys when this happened?
He was in the other end zone. So Caleb texted me, but right before the show started, I didn't have time to download it because I was downloading all this other stuff we had. But I definitely wanted to talk about that. So
you
literally,
couldn't miss the hat, yeah.
You couldn't miss the hat. I'm getting all kinds of text. Hey, is that the guy from the tailgate? Is that Caleb? Is that Von Bell asked for the ball back? Von Bell went like this, and he was Snapchatting as he was doing. Got himself catching the ball, throwing the ball back. He was on national TV. We got to get that ball back for him. So I think we need to get a hold of Von and see how in the hell we get that ball back for him. He was
speaking of balls, Jimmy, footballs. There's been a movement. Yeah, save that for the opener next year. But Mitchell Wilcox's football from his first touchdown. I don't know if anybody has turned that in yet. Or
tracked him
found
down.
It was a Bengals fan, from what I understand, that ended up with it. And that was a monster spike, to his credit. But my understanding, it is a Bengals fan that caught it and then ran up the steps with it. So if anybody knows who that was, please contact the Bengals.
It sounds like they found him, Tom. They found him. So Mitch is talking to him, trying to figure out how to get that ball and what he's got to do to get it. So it sounds like that person's been found.
I wonder if it was somebody from here or a Bengal fan in Florida.
I don't know. But it's funny. You could throw 20 balls in the stands randomly, and I guarantee you, all it would have been Bengal fans catching his ball. That's how many Bengal fans were down there, guys. All right, let's move forward here, guys. We've got the not the Boston Patriots, but the New England Patriots coming up here this Saturday, Christmas Eve.
Foxborough.
Let's talk about that game. Tom, I'll let you kick this off again.
Well, as long as they're not lateraling the ball, they're a very tough team. They, coached by one of the greatest coaches in the history of the game. and they've got a very efficient, good quarterback. They've still got an outstanding, powerful defense. So I mean, it'll take the Bengals' best game to win, especially on the road, traveling back from 60 degrees in Tampa, on Sunday. Now they're going to have to fly out on Thursday, which they lose a day of, a half day of practice on Friday. So that's, 2 days away from your own bed up in New England. So, there are a lot of challenges, but there again, if the Patriots play their best game and the Bengals play their best game, we should come back with the win, and everybody in Cincinnati has a very Merry Christmas.
I like what I don't know if you guys watched Burrow's press conference today, but I like what he says about, the reporter asked him, do you know if you win on Saturday, you clinch a playoff spot? If Jacksonville Jaguars win on Thursday, we clinch a playoff spot. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of that. I'm sure you guys all know that. And Joe says, I don't worry about that. I worry about every game. We want to win the division. We want to win the AFC. We want the bye. That's what we're going for. So I think we win this game. But I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think it's going to be, because this is what makes Bill Belichick a good coach. He games plans against good quarterbacks, and then he seems to lose against bad ones like Derek Carr. But
yeah, Tony, your thoughts about this weekend?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm actually going to go, me and Carrie. So we're actually thinking about flying out Thursday as well. First time in the stadium, so I'm just looking forward to the game, the experience. And I'm hoping to be able to bring that W back for Christmas for the Natty.
Yeah. Mark?
Obviously, I'm super excited, but I am slightly worried. I think one of the Bengals' Achilles heels is the tackles, and the Patriots have two very good rush ends. They have very good bend. They can turn the corner extremely quick, and our tackles seem to struggle with that. So I think that we're going to have to game plan against that very well. So I hope Zach Taylor and the crew get in their bag, because it's going to be an extremely difficult game.
Yeah, I think I want to see two things specifically other than the win. I want to be able to run the ball better, guys. We've got to run the ball better going into the playoffs. It's critically important. We got to stay healthy for sure coming out of that game. And Carrie did say since day one before the season started, she called a 13-4 season. And it wasn't looking too good at the start of the season. But Carrie is every time we win a game, she keeps telling, "Hey Jimmy, I told you so. I told you so." 13-4. she's been on it.
I hope you put some money on that.
I promised her a steak dinner if that happens, man. 13-4. I'll be more than happy to buy her a damn steak.
But the Bengals were in Vegas at the beginning of the season, 9.5 over under. So
right.
So guys, you made that bet.
Let's talk about. We'll finish with this, guys, before we get to our 2-minute warning. 10 wins. We've been talking for weeks now, Tom. 10 win gets us into playoffs. Whatever those rate, it's 99% chance the Bengals get to. We got 10 wins now. Now let's look forward here. There's a possibility if we went out, we potentially could have that number 1 seed, Tom.
13 will probably get us that number 1 seed. A richly deserved week off to heal up and get after it from there. So, the only way we can get to 13 is by beating New England. And I'm sure that's what they have focused. They've got a lot of challenges this week. They're going to have a challenge every week till the end of the season. But, I agree with Joe Burrow. We don't care about what the Jets or the Jaguars or anybody else does. They just take care of their own business, and they've certainly done that since Halloween.
Yeah, sure have. Guys, let's go ahead and close this out. I've got a very special 2-minute warning tonight. Hannah and Brandon, it's Hannah's birthday today. I think she turned 21 again, Tony. It's 21, I think.
Yeah, I think it's 21 again.
Yeah. I don't, Brandon got lucky. Brandon is the luckiest man in the world getting this lady right here. But this is the start of our 2-minute warning. When we come out of the 2-minute warning, we'll start with Mark. Here we go.
This is your 2-minute warning.
You see that little head down, kind of that little glare at the end? When she's mad at somebody, that's what she does. So Brandon sees that look all the time. I see it every now and then at the game and the tailgate. But Hannah, thanks for doing the 2-minute warning. I got a bunch of other 2-minute warnings we'll be using from fans here very soon. Mark, go ahead and close us out.
And she's not to be confused with her almost looking twin sister, which I made a mistake at the tailgate a couple of weeks ago. So I'm just super excited. It's going to be a little different watching the game. on Saturday. I really hope we win. We have a little tradition where we go to my grandma's house for Christmas Eve, and we all spend time together. So if we don't win, I will not have anywhere near as good of a time. So I really hope we win. And all the fans that are traveling, Tony, you are absolute soldier flying out during the blizzard. So have a good time, be safe, and bring the dub back, sir.
Thanks, sir.
Tony?
Yeah, so the game we had in Tampa, awesome. Came back in the second half, and I just wanted to say that, I think Burrow became the Brady when we came back from that underdog. It was the Brady used to do that to us all the time and the other teams, and we were able to give it back to him. So it's kind of cool to see that happen. As for this week, as Mark said, me and the wife are traveling. Looking forward to it. And the funny thing is, it's going to be warmer in Foxborough than it is here in the Natty. So kind of weird for that situation. But looking forward to it and hoping to bring back a W for the Christmas. And hope everybody has a great holiday.
Yeah. Tom?
I already had my thoughts on the game. Jimmy, this is Christmas week. And I know for you and I especially, we always like to remember the best Bengal Santa Claus of all, Doug Pelfrey, back-to-back years on Christmas Eve, sending us home from Old Riverfront with clutch last-second kicks 2 years in a row to win that. We've also had a couple sour notes. Lost, courtesy of Fat Randy, a loss in Houston a few years ago on New Year's Eve. And then the epic one right here in my own man cave. Christmas Eve, the Bengals playing the Broncos. Bengals win. They lock up a playoff spot. Unfortunately, a botched snap on an extra point with about 10 seconds to go. Ended the season for us. And his family legend accurately will depict, I looked at my wife's family and proclaimed that Christmas was effing canceled. Go home. And took my kids, who were still kind of little at the time, to look at him and say, you don't understand, he's serious. But so I think this Christmas Eve is going to be a much better Christmas Eve. Tony, come home safe, bring us a win. And I'm going to, in honor of our opponent this week, I'm going to lateral it up to our buddy Jamie.
All right, perfect. I missed a few weeks and we got it perfect. Yeah, guys, it was just really good to be back with the show, guys. I've missed so much time that when Jimmy went to tell everyone that James wasn't here, he said Jamie wasn't here. That's how much time. That's how much time. That's how used to you guys are not having me on. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Yeah, we've been really busy at my business with Christmas parties and stuff. It's been really hard to get away, but I'm glad to be back on. Obviously, it's always fun to come on the show when we've won 6 in a row. Even though we do this show and we lose 6 in a row, it's nice to come on when we're winning 6 in a row. And the one thing I will say, I don't know about you guys, but Christmas is weird this year. I don't know if the Christmas spirit just doesn't seem to be there for a lot of people. Maybe it's like the COVID hangover and everything going on, but I think the NFL has answered a lot of football fans' prayers with a full schedule of games on Christmas Day and the Bengals playing on Christmas Eve. I'm super looking forward to doing that over the holidays. So, and again, I'll say the same thing as everyone else said. Tony, awesome that you're going to go down there and represent Cincinnati at Foxborough. Get there safe. You and Carrie have a good time and come back with a dub.
Yep. Guys, just want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I am not going to Foxborough this weekend. I'm breaking like a 43-44 game streak. Christmas Eve, all kinds of stuff going on with the family. I've been to New England twice before, so I'm going to be sitting this one out. It's going to be weird for me sitting at home or wherever I'm going to be watching the game at this weekend. So I am kind of looking forward to that. I hope the rest of our crew, Tony, you, Carrie, Brandon, Caleb, I think Luke and Mariana and our normal crew is all heading down there. So be safe getting down there and back with the bad weather, potential bad weather there. Would also like to thank the tailgate. The tailgate this past week, guys. I just can't begin to tell you. I think some people were pretty upset with me that they couldn't get into the tailgate and they thought I would just let them in. Guys, we pre-sold 1,000 tickets to that tailgate. We had limited space. I'm so sorry we couldn't get everybody in there, but I tell you what, it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. What I've learned over the years, 30 years of doing this, we tailgate a little differently here in Cincinnati. I know they talk about all these, the national narrative is hard to change. Like Kay Adams said last week, they always talk about Buffalo, they talk about all these other cities. Cincinnati is one of the best tailgating cities in the NFL, period. We know that for a fact. But I would like to thank the Bengal Trailer for coming down, joining us. Cincinnati Music Accelerator. Kickley drove his entire trailer stage down there. Great sound system, amazing sound system. Means Cameron, black owned, set up a shop down there. And James worked the gate. And me, Tony, Lori, Caleb were putting on wristbands. We had a beer ambulance we were pouring beer out of the side. Craig said he poured 700-800 beers himself. His business is beer. That's what he does for a living, or beer events. He said he's never poured so many beers in one night in his life. Him himself, we had 5 people working that beer. He poured over 700, he said, close to 800. An amazing time. And none of that happens with a huge group of people. And I'm missing somebody I know. There were people that actually volunteered when they were down there to help us pour beer. I think they probably regretted that, as they got through the tailgate. But what an amazing time. The tailgate was literally right across the street, almost the same distance that our tailgate is here in Cincinnati to the stadium. That's how close we were. And Bengal fans were awesome. I just absolutely love it. So, guys, Merry Christmas. Happy holiday. Let's get this dub here Saturday, and we'll see you next week. We've got another great guest coming on. We'll tell you who that is later. Good day, everybody. Thank you.
Merry Christmas. Good day.
Good day, guys. Cheers.